Monday morning, 10 a.m. Brussels airport, just made it to the gate. It was a little bit stressful to get here, but we're here at the gate about to embark. One thing I just want to talk about real quick, I think a lot of people can relate to. When you're trying to make a change, when you're trying to do something that is a little bit against the norm, it's so hard to get up out that thick mud that are your surroundings, the people around you and everyone who has an opinion on things. And I experienced that so incredibly much these, just the last day and a half. My family and just friends telling me, like, what are you doing? Like, what are you going to do in Valencia? What's the plan? Shouldn't you be thinking about settling down and getting a normal job? And it's crazy, like, when you are around the people that have known you for the longest time and the people that raised you, you're always going to fall back into that role of being like a weak child who's not strong enough to do things on their own. And just now being at the airport, I already have like 50% more superpowers than I had 2 hours before. It's crazy how your surroundings can make you so weak and so prone to settling and just taking the comfortable and the easy route. So anyone that's watching this that is surrounded by people making them feel like they can't make a change, you can. You just have to take that first step, pull yourself up out of the mud and get to it. Because that's what I'm doing, guys. I'm doing the same thing, and I may look courageous and strong on the surface, but on the inside I'm just as scared as you. The only difference is I'm doing it, I'm documenting it, I'm talking about it.
Plastique et respirez normalement. Ne vous inquiétez pas.
Just checked in to my Airbnb. Obviously, I am sharing the flat with other people, so I don't want to show up vlogging there. Just wanted to take a minute to appreciate the fit. And now I'll be going in town, looking for lunch, and just catching a vibe, man. Trying to feel it out, see what it's all about. So just looking at Google Maps, it appears to me that there is some sort of a green park belt around the city center. So that's where I'm starting to walk right now. This is actually really, really beautiful, guys. Like, it's just this super nice park setting. You guys know I love nature, especially if it's combined with the context of the city. And guys, it's November and it just feels like absolute summer. I forgot what it was like to go to a place I'd never been. It's just, all of this is new. I'm trying to take it all in, but it's not easy. It's a lot at once. I still haven't had lunch yet. It's quite overwhelming, to be honest with you. It just feels like I have no clue where I'm going, where I'm heading. But I do know that I very much like the aesthetics of it. Just check this out. That was a really good lunch. Probably the images didn't do it justice, but delicious. It is already time for some way too early first impressions of Valencia. Man, it's calm out here. I can't help but compare it to Barcelona all the time, being that I've spent so many years there. And it's just crazy to see that, how calm it is here, how few people compared to Barcelona. Might have something to do with the COVID as well. So as I was vlogging, this just happened. Those two guys that just passed me, you just saw me put the camera down. I'm pretty sure they were gonna try to rob me. So, two dudes looking like your typical robbers, and they just halted when they saw me filming, and then they tried to get close, and as you just saw, I put the camera down to bring it close to me so I wouldn't get snatched. So it's so funny, as I was just mentioning Barcelona, aka Pickpocket Central, I already just had my first experience. And you guys can say like, oh, you're making this up and it's all in your head, but I know what those type of guys look like. I know that look in their eyes. And it's just basically, it's always a matter of when you show them that you are on to them, usually that'll be enough for them to just walk away and not even try. They're not trying to fight you. They don't want to fight you. They just want to take something that is easily there. About 1 hour from now, I actually have a meeting with one of my clients, and then straight after that, I have a second client. So I'm gonna just walk around a little bit more, and then make my way back to the Airbnb to get back to doing what I do best, offering my mentorship, my coaching to my clients. And I think I have just arrived at the Valencian, if that's the word, version of Plaza Catalunya. I don't really know, but this basically looks exactly like Plaza Catalunya in the way that the buildings are structured and the way they have this big square in the middle. Again, comparing it to Barcelona, I'm gonna try to not do this the entire trip, because you guys are gonna get tired of that real quick. Just thinking back on what just happened, I think it's funny how I once again have to get used to not living in a Smallville foreigner's town where you can just keep your doors unlocked day and night and nothing will happen. Like, this is, at the end of the day, the reality of living in the city. People will try to snatch your shit. So, just a good old little reminder to be on guard and to not walk around like a naive sheep, like a deer caught in the headlight. Alright guys, so I was just sitting down enjoying the scenery, and then these two lovely ladies decided to join me. So as it turns out, they're actually from Colombia. So she has been living here for 3 years. They're cousins, if I understood correctly, and she has just joined. So I'm gonna ask them what are some things I should absolutely do in Valencia. Okay, vamos a hablar español ahora. Mejor, ¿no? ¿Qué tengo que hacer aquí en Valencia? ¿Quién son las cosas muy importantes de hacer aquí? No tienes que ser tímida.
Sí, soy tímida.
No, estás bien, estás guapa, no te preocupes.
No, pues, a ver, es que no sé qué hacen los turistas aquí.
¿Qué tú haces en el fin de semana?
Pues fin de semana, pues salgo hacia los alrededores de Valencia, los pueblos.
Muy tranquila, mujeres tranquilas.
Sí, son muy tranquilas.
Las colombianas no hacen mucho. Quieren en la casa.
Sí, no todas, pero sí, la mayoría son más caseras.
Vale. Tengo una conexión muy buena con la gente de Colombia, siempre.
Sí.
Y nosotros son la prueba otra vez.
Ah,
Okay.
ok.
Gracias.
Pero las personas aquí en Valencia también son muy...
¿Sí?
Sí.
Vale. Solo estoy aquí como 2 horas, entonces tengo que esperar un poco para... Nosotros son la primera gente con quien hablo.
Yeah.
It should never be the goal to stop being insecure. Imagine, like, insecurity and ego are two of the absolute strongest motivating factors that you could ever find. It's absolute rocket fuel. I'm living proof of that. Like, my insecurity, my hurt ego that I turned out to be, a sick cancer patient, made me who I am today. I wouldn't have the body I have today. I wouldn't have the mindset. I wouldn't have traveled to the places I did because I wanted to make up for it. Is that a negative thing? Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. So it's like what I feel is like the art lies in extracting the benefits from insecurity and ego that are just like getting shit done, being motivated, like being in the gym, getting angry at something or someone that did you wrong. If that helps you squeeze out 3 more reps, then do it. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, on some Star Wars shit, basically, like the Raise the Dark Side, I talk about that a lot. But then we have to find, like, and this is a very tough mental exercise, one that I'm still balancing to this day, but we have to find that moment and that way to kind of like shut it off in other situations. Like summon it where we need it, summon it when we need that like, I still summon, like past breakups and stuff when I'm having a bad day in the gym, and I put on sad music. And then in a weird way that gets me hyped. I get emotional, and that emotion fuels me and gives me energy. Like I'll listen to Whitney Houston and think about some girl from 10 years ago and be like, oh, like, but, and it sounds crazy, but it's a legitimate mental technique, and that's the goal here, to get to a place where we can have kind of like this mental arsenal of weaponry, like a fucking samurai, where we could just be like, all right, I'm gonna do this presentation, or I'm gonna do this thing, I need to kill it, and just like summon this. Do you know Gary V? Gary Vaynerchuk, that dude, like this crazy fuck on Instagram, like, yeah. He's a great fire starter. What that means is he's great at like making someone who's just not doing shit all day, he's great at waking them up and providing that initial spark to light the fire. He's good at that. He did that with me, actually, so I could never really shit on him, even though he's ridiculous. But like once you're past that, once you're like actually moving and you're like, like he talks about putting up, you have to post 6 times a day on Instagram, 6 Instagram posts. Fuck your friends if they think it's lame. Like, Gary, that's not really. Anyway, I don't want to. I digress. My point is, one thing Gary did like taught me, and tying into what I was just talking about, he always says, I imagine every day when I wake up or something that my loved ones have a gun to their face, and if I don't deliver this, like if I don't deliver that day or I don't hit my targets, like they all die, And but he obviously he's a show guy, showman, and he takes it to an extreme. But there is a bit of truth in that, in terms of like using mental techniques to get the best out of yourself in the context of delivering a certain performance, whether that is at work, whether that's in a social setting. But that is tricky. It's hard. Like, I'm laying out the theory now. I'm laying out, like, I make it sound like, oh, it's easy. But I do that too. But even me, I catch myself sometimes drifting back too much into a certain negative mindset, or comparing myself too much again. Then I gotta check myself. But again, this is why we have to basically talk about these things, externalize, and constantly check ourselves. And that's never going to end in our lifetime. We're always going to stay in this. Like, we're never going to get to a point where we're like, oh, I'm in control of everything.